Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Stephen Gatchell, BigID's Director of Advisory. In today's session, we'll cover digital transformation, a transformational mindset, and organizational structures. I have the pleasure of talking with Talal Butt, Global Vice President in Enterprise Transformation and Architecture at Rockwell Automation. Talal, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank you, Stephen. Glad to be here.
Hey, before we start getting into the individual questions, do you mind just sharing a little brief background about yourself and your role at Rockwell?
Well, thanks for having me here. So I've been with Rockwell for about 6 years now. My background has been primarily all been in technology over the last 23 years or so. Have held multiple roles in application engineering, architecture, data, M&A spaces. Over the last 10 years or so, my roles have been a little bit more focused on overall transformation efforts, whether it's technology transformation, changing the operating model, the execution model for our technology teams, and most recently with Rockwell, expanding it to looking at broadly our enterprise transformation for Rockwell and changing our go-to-market models, introducing subscription ARR to our portfolio, and ensuring that we have the infrastructure and the frameworks ready to be able to launch these digital products for the future for Rockwell. So that has been kind of the focus for me and my team. We started our transformation journey within Rockwell about 4 years ago, and our goal has always been kind of three-pronged. Number one has been around creating this end-to-end customer experience, which is frictionless, seamless, for our end customers and partners and distributors. Number two has been to kind of really re-engineer our processes to create that experience that we want for our customers. And the third piece is to kind of have this technology backend that can support that end-to-end experience. And we started this journey looking more specifically around our software subscription ARR products that were getting introduced, and now we're kind of expanding it more broadly to the rest of Rockwell and how we do business and changing our business models for our customers and partners globally.
That's perfect. I appreciate you sharing some of those insights to Rockwell. Can you just talk a little bit more and define what digital transformation means to you? Because I think when people talk about transformation, specifically digital transformation, it can be different contexts. And you gave a couple of great examples from a customer experience standpoint and how you're transforming internal processes and so forth. But think about some of those key concepts around digital transformation. Can you give a little more insight as to your definition?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, pretty much every company, every industry is going through some level of, digital transformation. And we're kind of, my thought and where my head is at is that, number one, it is industry specific. When we look at a lot of our, B2C businesses, they're, whether it's Amazon or Netflix or others that come to mind that we as consumers interact with, the experience that they have created is a lot more advanced than what B2B companies have, including Rockwell as an industrial segment. So, in today's day and age, digital is just part of any transformation to begin with. So, if you go back 10, 15 years, a lot of the transformation within technology teams was to move to cloud, upgrade their networks, ensure that we have seamless kind of operations within our technology organizations, and those things still need to happen, and they are kind of crucial to building a much more robust overall transformation agenda. But the way we look at it, Rockwell, is the customer outside in view first. So our goal and mission with our transformation office and transformation efforts has been to look at how we ensure that our customer journeys, whether it's the end customer or distributors, partners, and our employees, how do we streamline those journeys and have a seamless experience? So that's an outside in view. Then we got to look at, all of the different processes that big industrial companies like Rockwell have. 100-plus-year-old organization. The business models have shifted, but not necessarily all of our processes have caught up to those changing business models. And more importantly, as we're moving more and more towards a software-driven digital product mindset, we want to make sure that our processes also align to that. And then when you have those two pieces, in place, then you got to make sure that your technology backbone is there to support those new processes and to support the seamless, frictionless customer experience that we're trying to do. So our transformation efforts are, embodiment of all of those three pieces, not just the technology layer. In fact, it actually starts with our customer first and our process reengineering and go-to-market strategies. And then we kind of get to, okay, now how do we ensure that we have the right digital backbone from a systems perspective to support it, so that the systems are architected in an agile manner. We have a way of delivering those systems in an agile manner, so we can pivot as needed. As technology is changing, we can plug and play certain pieces. So service-oriented architecture is a big part of it. So that's kind of how we think about it. And we have been pretty successful over the last 4 or 5 years as Rockwell matured their offerings on the software and subscription side to be able to create this framework and infrastructure to be able to support that. And that has been a pretty big accomplishment for the team broadly.
So it sounds like that's how you're making this digital transformation stick, right? I mean, a lot of companies are going on this journey of digital transformation. There's excitement in the company as it starts up, but then you're 6 months in or a year in, and all of a sudden it loses its luster because maybe there's not those success stories. So can you share a little bit more around how you've had some of those digital transformation ideas stick, and maybe 100-year-old company, some people with the company doing the same thing for 40 years. Why do I need to change the way I'm doing things? I've been successful for 40 years, right? So any examples there that you can share?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, it's one that, we kind of debated and argued a lot before starting our transformation journey, that we wanted to kind of understand that what are some of the elements that made these big transformations stick for other organizations that have gone through it, as well as what are some of the key elements that made it unsuccessful for others. And Stephen, one of the things that jumped out pretty consistently as we kind of walked through that journey before we kicked off our transformation efforts was that it's not a whole lot about technology anymore. The technology is there. We as technology leaders understand that space really well. We know how to kind of scale it, implement it. It's really the pitfalls are really around culture, change management, and ensuring that the adoption of these new ways of working is there for the broader organization. So how do you ensure that there's great storytelling from all the leaders around where we're at and where we're going? How do we ensure that what we're building actually is going to make a positive impact on the experience overall, and people are adopting it and they want more and more of it? So there's a couple of things that we did which I think really helped us. Number one was that we started small. So our vision has always been to create an Amazon-like experience, if you will, in the B2B space. So, one shopping cart, one PO, one renewal, just like you go to Amazon and you can create a shopping cart and click checkout, and, the magic happens in the back end. For industrial organizations, that's been a very difficult task to do. So for Rockwell, as an example, we have 3 business units, one focused on hardware, intelligent devices, another focused on software, another focused on services. And as a customer, if I come to Rockwell, I want to buy some hardware, I want to buy some software, I want to buy some services, I want to have these renew on a different time schedule and different sites. And that becomes a pretty complicated kind of matrix. And our goal really was to kind of simplify that, simplify the experience, simplify the process, and ensure that we have the right, a backbone, if you will, to support that. So we started small and saying, hey, how do we fix our billing issue for recurring revenue as an example? And we kind of took an agile approach of delivering functionality and delivering new capabilities on quarter by quarter basis. And we built on that. So we brought some parts of our portfolio in, not everything, made sure that feature functionality is being adopted, it's being used, and then the customers or business partners and distributors are wanting more and more of it to add on top of it. So it became less about, hey, we want you to have this, and more about, hey, we see the good thing that the team is doing, we want more of it. So can you do this? Can you do that more on it? And that kind of started this more of a ripple effect for us to kind of build on top of. And as we started to kind of build these capabilities, the next big challenge for us was to ensure that these are enterprise-wide capabilities. And those are the efforts that are in motion right now to just take it from certain business units, but make it more enterprise-wide so that it connects the thread for our customers end to end. So that's an example of how it makes sense to kind of start, and it worked really good for us, where we kind of took some baby step, built the trust through actual delivery of capabilities. The second piece I would mention is, senior leadership support and their kind of buy-in at each step of the process is really important, because these are massive change management, massive culture impact initiatives. There's going to be a lot of pushback. There's going to be a lot of ruffled feathers. So you really kind of need that constant senior leadership support to say, hey, we are on this journey. Yes, not everything is going to be perfect, but we got to look at, these increments of value. And if they are delivering value, then, we kind of start to scale up. So I think those are kind of the two big nuggets that, I've kind of gone through in my prior experiences and also at Rockwell that have really helped us.
So I want to thank you, Talal. Appreciated the conversation, enjoyed it very much. So please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews, and thank you to the audience for your time.
All right, thank you.